Welcome back. So today we are talking about the 51st Guards Infantry Division, the 150th Medical Battalion. Now, these are one of the very unique squads in this game. There's only two like them that are all female. They are both from the USSR. One of them is this medic squad, the other one is the PO2 squad. This is a squad that I've actually had my eye on for a long time, but I never really picked them up because I never thought that they were really competitive or added anything I didn't have. They're just a squad that I thought would be really cool to have. And thanks to my buddy Ice, you may have seen him in game with me before, you probably will see him in the background of some of this, Space Gorilla. Now I have them. So, thanks Ice, you're awesome. So, per their description, they were formed in December 1941 from the 76th Mountain Division. They took part in the attack on Kharkov, and since November they've been taking an active part in Stalingrad. This is a squad from Stalingrad back when it was a thing as like its own separate campaign. There is a German squad that mirrored them, but as I recall, the German squad was really boring and had nothing special about it whatsoever. So, what sets them apart? Well, like we said, this is the only all-female, or has any females whatsoever, infantry squad in the game, and that's kind of unique. It's like extremely unique when it comes to Enlisted. Also, they have the PPSH-2, which is a pretty nifty little submachine gun. It looks pretty cool. We'll go over its stats in a minute. They're sitting at BR2. They are unfortunately a small squad. There's 3 medics and 1 engineer. And I guess let's get into their weapons. So the PPSH-2 is a submachine gun designed by G.S. Spagen in search of a lighter, simplified mass production alternative to the PPSH-41. In a lot of ways, this gun feels like an analog to the PPS-42. I think it's more like the 42 than the 43, but, you know, stats will reveal all. So, at 10 meters, it does 6.6 damage. It's shooting bullets at 450 meters per second, 600 rounds a minute, 2.4 reload, 75 shot deviation, 60 recoil control, 20-10 for its vertical and horizontal, with a 35 round magazine and 3.1 kilos. It fires in full auto. It's kind of a neat looking gun. It almost reminds me, appearance-wise, of like a miniature STG. I think it's just the way that the magazine looks, and it's almost like if you took a Thompson and an STG and like stuffed them together. Like the receiver kind of reminds me of a Thompson. I know it's not a Thompson. It just, the blockiness of it kind of reminds me of a Thompson. And then, you know, it's got like a sickle mag. They're pretty cool. At BR2, they're going to be pretty competitive with everything that you run into. So, for example, if you want to compare them to the PPS-42, a fully upgraded PPS-42 is doing 6.7 damage, so marginally more, 0.1. And it's shooting at 690, so a little bit faster, 2.4 reload time, 25-7 for its vertical horizontal. You get the idea. It's also a 35 round magazine. Like, the gun on this squad fits very, very well into the BR that it's put into. Also, when you compare them to a tech tree medic squad, you are giving up soldiers, but you're getting an engineer. Unfortunately, normal tech tree medic squads don't get any sort of specialists, so for somebody who's starting out in this game, having access to an engineer that can build all the things is very nice. That being said, they fall kind of low in my ranking of competitiveness. I'm sure everybody here has heard this spiel before, but when it comes down to premium squads, right, up at the top you have things like the Russian paratroopers, which unfortunately they have to compete against. You also have half-tracks, which unfortunately they have to compete against. You also have vehicles. I'd put those all around the same, like, those are like S tier, right? Depending on the vehicle, Russian paratroopers, half-tracks, right? Then in A tier, you've got things like guerrillas, paratroopers that are locked at 1BR, and like A-ish tier. Like, you could probably put them in A tier as well. You've got machine gun squads, sniper squads, like all of these like specialist infantry squads that get more specialists than you normally would get in a normal squad, but a smaller squad overall. These being a smaller squad, and even if they were like a 5-man squad, they'd rank about the same as an assault squad. And assault squads basically rank at the bottom for me. And I should note that this is dependent on where you are in your progression, right? Because if you're a brand new player and you go and you pick up the Suomi boys for Germany, right? They're going to feel pretty good for a long time because you're going to be grinding out like the whole tech tree with them, and you know, that takes a while. But you're going to hit a point where eventually you're going to not need that gun anymore, or that squad anymore, because you're going to have assault squads. They're, you know, 7-man squads, and you know, you're going to have guns that are just as good, if not better. However, given the recent changes, there is merit to using event and premium squads now. They're just a little bit different. You know, you do get more silver and experience gain with them, and they do have an AT slot, and they are 6-man now, so they're at least close to their tech tree counterparts. Enough so that the additional silver gain may offset the 1-man smaller squad. In a lot of cases, it probably will. But you may still outgrow them. The problem with this squad is that happens almost immediately. Like, you get, at BR1, you get the PPD-34. The PPD-34, honest to God, is a really good gun. It would be nice if it had a bigger magazine, but like stock, no upgrades, it's shooting at 800 rounds a minute, and it's doing like 5.3 damage. When you fully upgrade them, because it's not a huge silver investment anymore to upgrade BR1 guns, it's a very, very strong gun. It's got great fire rate for clearing rooms, it's got decent enough damage, like, it's a good gun. And then when you move up to the PPS 42 and the 43, like, the 42 is kind of a side grade to this. They're very similar to one another. The PPS 43 is just better, in my opinion. It's got a little bit worse recoil, but other than that, it's just better. It's got more fire rate, it's got the same amount of ammo, it's a good gun. It's a really, really good gun. So, the problem that this squad has is that there's only 4 of them, and it's not like there's 5 of them and they're competing against like 7-man squad. No, there's like 4 of them, and so they're missing 3 people. They have no specialists other than the engineer. Like, they're not a very competitive squad. That's what I'm getting at here. They also are medics, so on the one hand, they can heal people, they can put down med kits. That's really nice. That's useful for your team, but for the most part, you want like 1 medic in your squad. And the problem with having medics is that they come with medic boxes. And medic boxes mean that you can't put any other weapon on them. So, for example, you can take a rifleman squad. And I'm not a huge fan of premium rifleman squads because they have no specialists. But they at least scale well because you can give them a second primary. And you can give them, like, BR4 or 5 rifles on, like, a BR1 squad. And it still makes them pretty playable. This squad, they don't do that. Your engineer has a hammer, everybody else has a med box. So, what this really comes down to is they are really, really ridiculously cool from a historic perspective, because this highlights something that very few games do, and then when they do it, a lot of games get it wrong. I'm looking at you, Battlefield. So, it's really cool to see the historic representation of women fighting in war, because it's a thing that happened, and it's something that I really do want to see more in this game, because there are some really, really badass people that fought in World War II that don't get highlighted nearly enough. But, you know, it's also done tastefully, unlike looking at you, Battlefield. I'm never gonna get over that stupid commando raid in Norway. Like, in real life, that raid is so cool. But, whatever, I digress. I would recommend this squad when it's on sale from, like a historic perspective, a collector's perspective. I have a lot of fun with them. They've been sitting on my BR2 lineup, and, like, I have a lot of fun with them. They sit in that, like, extra premium slot, so it's not like I'm losing out on anything by having them there. But that being said, if I was somebody who had limited squad slots, I feel like the tech tree assault squads would bring me more value. Like, if I was like a 4 squad Andy over here, and I think everybody gets that premium squad slot, right? I think everybody does. I would rather have the half-track or the paratroopers to put in that slot than this squad. And the half-track is at least going to be relatively close in gold cost. I think the paratroopers are going to be a lot more. So, the paratroopers may not be for everybody. I think they're probably the best premium squad in the game, though. So, I mean, if you play Russia, that's the squad that I would save up and target getting. But I would also look at the half-track squad, because it's a really good intro squad. Since you can put whatever you want on them, put them at whatever BR you want. This squad, I think, is more of like a, hey, I want something really cool and unique, right? Not something that's super competitive. Now, on the topic of squads like this one, right? We've got the Po-2 squad with the Night Witches, that's really cool. I'm still waiting to see a sniper squad. Either that or like a Gold Order soldier. Basically what I'm thinking is like Ludmila Pavlichenko. Because I know she's not the only one, but she's like the famous Russian like female sniper. I think she has like over 300 like confirmed kills. She went on like a press tour in the United States. There's like a whole movie about her. She's really cool. But not just with them. I mentioned it in some of the guerrilla content. I'm really looking forward to the possibilities of getting like non-traditional units with guerrillas, either because they're like countries that don't really fit normally into this sort of game. Let's say like, I don't know, Yugoslavia, for example, right? Or maybe like Chinese resistance to Japan. Just things that they probably could introduce a whole line into tech tree for them, but they might be difficult to do so. But it makes it really easy if you take them as a guerrilla squad and put them in as like an event or a premium squad for various different pre-established tech trees, right? It's kind of the same when it comes to like female soldiers. I think you can do a lot with them just because of how prevalent like men, women, whatever were in partisan activities around the world during World War II. So, I would like to see both of those. Like, there's a few other things that you could put in the game, but like those two in particular, those are the two that I would really like to see to complement this. I wouldn't mind if Darkflow decided to do a pass over a lot of these older legacy squads and like modernize them. Like this squad, if they only added like one more medic to the squad, I think it would feel a lot better, and I think it would feel more competitive. If they didn't do that, like if they go to all of the like premium assault squads, and they add a flex AT engineer slot, just like they did for the assault squads, I can live with it being a 5-man squad. It doesn't need to be like a 6 or 7, you know, lady squad. But I would like to have more than 4. I just don't feel like they're that competitive only having 4. Now, as far as perks go, I've actually done a lot of fun things with this squad. I think by default they came with like sprint speed, and my friend and I were talking about how it would be kind of fun to just really make them like zoom. And that's basically what I did. I gave them all the like rank 3 mobility sprint speed, and then I gave them 2 stacks of rank 2 sprint speed. So like when I run with this squad, they are zooming like whoosh across the map. I also gave them vitality, and I gave them reload speed. The other perks are just kind of whatever. Like you can slot them wherever you want. Those are the ones that were important to me. I would like to get some swords to outfit this squad to make them run even faster, but the swords that I have are already on like squad leaders from some of the other squads that I use more frequently. Like, I think my Lewis gun squad has one of my Russian swords, and I use it on the squad leader to, like, get around and put down, like, spawn points and whatnot. As far as their other equipment, the engineer has a large backpack, AP mine flask, and a TT pistol. Everybody has a TT pistol. They all have explosive packs. They all came with explosive packs. The medics all have med bags, so they can't get backpacks. That's the other thing with medics that I didn't mention before. They have med boxes, so they can't take an extra gun. They have med bags, so they can't take a backpack. Like, it's really limiting, and the thing is, I like having a medic. It's cool to be able to top people up or to, like, throw down a med box when I need it. Because the thing is, realistically, I don't normally run around healing people. But, you know, it's nice to be able to top people up when I am on a medic. But really, I just like having the med box so I can resupply med kits. I don't need more than one med box, though. But yeah, they all have flasks, they all have TT pistols, they all have AP mines, they all have explosive packs, they all have med kits. The engineer, like I said before, is what she has. You get the idea. So if you have them, let me know what you think. If you don't have them, I think that they're a very cool collector's item. I'd definitely look into them. They're something that I've always looked at, like every sale, and been like, maybe I should pick them up. And then I usually get, you know, something that I feel is more competitive because, you know, I'm not fun. But now I have them, and I have had fun with them, and they're awesome, so there you go. As per usual, get out there, kick ass, take names, and win your games.